Am I the AH for accepting money from my grandparents and telling my parents off because my parents tried to force them to see my stepsister as their grandkid? I turned 18 this year. I was 11 or 12 when I stopped seeing my grandparents, and looking back on it, they stopped coming around when my dad got remarried. I had a very good relationship with them before my dad got remarried. I thought they just didn't care anymore until they contacted me after my birthday. They asked me to meet up with them and talk. I was hesitant, but I wanted answers. They informed me that they were cut off by my parents and couldn't contact me. That around the time they were getting married, a huge fight happened. It boiled down to my parents wanting them to accept my stepsister, 16 right now, as their grandkid. My grandparents told them no, and huge fight. They banned them from contacting me. They informed me that they have been saving up money for me and want to get to know me again. I have been meeting them since. I am in college and I plan on using the money instead of taking on any more debt. I also have been going to a community college and will transfer to a better school. I informed my parents that I am looking to transfer, and they brought up I will go into debt. I informed them of the money I got from my grandparents. This caused a huge fight and they are pissed that I would take money from them. I am pissed that they ruined my relationship with them, especially since my sister doesn't even see us as family. She doesn't call my dad, but would ruin my relationship with my nana and papa. They think I am being a brat. Am I the AH for asking another mom if I could help with her daughter's hair? My daughter, 9, recently made a new friend. The friend is adopted, she's black and her parents are white. We've had her around our house a lot the last few months, and we've noticed that her parents don't really know how to look after her hair. I'm white and my husband is mixed. His black grandmother lives with us, and she has pointed out the girl's hair and even tried to give her some hair care advice. I decided to bring up with the mom about her daughter's hair and that my husband's grandma was happy to give some advice or even wash/detangle and braid her hair. The mom was really upset that I would suggest she couldn't take care of her daughter properly and that I was overstepping boundaries. I told her that my grandma-in-law just wanted to help her daughter. She told me I was being rude and undermining her parenting. She also told me I wasn't the first person to bring this up. I'm worried now, because I really didn't think she would react like that. I'm worried I've ruined my daughter's new friendship. I understand why she's upset at thinking I'm trying to suggest she's not looking after her daughter properly. On the other hand, it's 2024. There is so much information out there to help her with her daughter's hair, plus we live near a big city where there is loads of salons she could take her daughter to. Am I the AH for bringing this up? I feel bad about how things transpired. Am I the AH for asking for an estimate of the bride's expenses that I'm expected to pay for on her Bach trip? I let the bride know 4 months before her bachelorette trip and 1 week before the final headcount deadline of who all was going on this trip that I wouldn't be able to go due to financial reasons. I got engaged 2 months after the bride did and wanted to save money for our elopement. The bride was incredibly upset and she told me that it wasn't about my reason for not going, it was about my timing of when I told her. Her wedding is actually set on a fast track as she got engaged in December of 2023 and is getting married November of 2024. She told me that I should have known this was coming up and I should have been saving for it. I also wanted to throw in that I never got an official ask to be a BM, I just got summoned by another BM to join a group chat called Bride Tribe, and that's how I found out I was chosen, so I never had the option to actually decline. Anyway, after disclosing my reasoning on why I couldn't go, she told me that as her BM she has certain expectations and one of them is to attend the Bach, and I should have told her at her engagement party that I couldn't go. She didn't even know when her wedding date was during that time. Anyway, I asked her what her expectations were of me as a BM moving forward, so we were on the same page. She said help throw and pay for her bridal shower, show up to rehearsal on time, and of course show up on the official wedding day. She said she was paying for hair and makeup and the BM dresses. I said okay, that's fine, I'm able to contribute to those things. Fast forward, I get a text from the group chat saying that since 4/5 of us are not able to go on this 4-day trip, it would only be fair and reasonable to pay for the bride's expenses. As the date of the Bach trip was approaching, I asked the MOH if she had an estimate on how much everything would be per person, and I needed to know because I wasn't sure what I would be able to contribute to the cost. She went off on me and also told me that it's not her job to figure that out for me, and I should have asked sooner, and she doesn't know the cost because the trip hasn't happened and I should just be ready to pay after the fact, despite not knowing how much it'll be. She cried to the bride, who eventually called me and said that for the sake of our friendship, she is going to remove me as a bridesmaid since I have a lot going on and can't meet her expectations, and she doesn't like to be disappointed. I am still, however, invited to the wedding. Am I the AH? Am I the AH for calling my BIL a giant man baby? My sister has been married twice. With her ex-husband, she has a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. She is currently expecting a baby, 6-ish months along, with her current/second husband. Second husband is BIL, mentioned in the post. My sister and her ex-husband's marriage ended during her second pregnancy in reality. They were together for several more months in an effort to make it work, but they were never really in love. I believe this is somewhat relevant later, and I don't think they ever really liked each other, but both loved the children they shared. The marriage ended and my sister started dating soon after. She met BIL a year after her divorce was finalized. At this point, the kids were 3.5 and 1.5. Problems began when my sister and BIL moved in together after 6 months of dating. BIL did not like seeing the kids' dad around. The kids' dad would pick them up for his custody time, would show up to preschool plays and meetings. Then BIL got annoyed one day when he found out my parents had run into the kids' dad and spoken to him at random. He said nothing for ages after my parents mentioned it. Months and maybe even more than a year later, when I think back on it, he brought it up and told us all how offended he was that we were still friendly with the kids' dad, and he said this in front of the kids. When my sister and BIL got married, he became visibly frustrated when the kids wanted to invite their dad. He wasn't invited. But he was annoyed that a 4- and 6-year-old wanted their dad there. BIL has this one-sided and self-inflicted competition going on with the kids' dad for the role as their dad. He has tried encouraging the kids to call him dad, has asked my sister to go to court and get Father's Day split/shared or alternated in some way so he can have them too. I believe my sister allows this because BIL is the first man she has been in love with. And she's letting it blind her. BIL complains frequently that the kids treat him like a stranger or like a teacher they have to respect, but don't like. Yesterday was my other sister's birthday and we were at her house. My sister's kids were telling me about their dad and what was going on with him when BIL demanded to speak with me and tore me a new one for disrespecting him with talk of the competition. He told me he is my sister's husband and the kid's real dad, and I should stop the disrespect. I told him to quit being such a man baby and accept that he has stepkids and they have a loving father and that others are allowed to be on good terms with their father. He called me some names and said I owed him a lot more respect than I was showing him by saying that to his face. Am I the AH?